Welcome back. I've got a Blu Ray update, got a number of indicator titles, and a few titles for the October Challenge. First up, The Reckoning, 1970, uh, starring Nicole Williamson, who may be better known as the priest in Exorcist 3. He plays a guy named Nick Marley, who grew up in the blue collar neighborhoods of England, rural England, but he's made his way to the big time in business, and he's become not a very pleasant person as a result of that. He gets called back home because his dad's dying, and he tries to figure out, well, what caused his father's death. And through doing that, he has to come to terms with himself as a person, his background, where he came from, and the clash of that culture as opposed to, say, London business world. It's an interesting drama. It's a drama, but it's just a character study, and it's really kind of a clash of cultures, the haves versus the have-nots. You know, that kind of your upbringing. But he is an outstanding actor, and he did a great job in this film. Highly recommend this release. It's, of course, it's a little bit different from straight up horror, but it's a, this guy as a person is a horrible, horrible person. This release has a number of special features. First is got a number of interviews. It's a high def scan, and it's got culture. Well, actually, it's got a special feature called Culture Clash, which talks about an interview with the writer, director, number of different interviews. It's also got a extensive booklet, which a lot of these powerhouse indicator titles have pretty decent sized booklets. Yeah, interesting film, different. If you're gonna get away from horror and stuff, action, you might want to give The Reckoning a shot. Next up is a really good film. Thoroughly enjoyed 10 Rillington Place, directed by Richard Fleischer, who, of course, he's done a lot of stuff. I mean, he's done Tora, 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 all the way to Red Sonja. I mean, he's a prolific director. This is a true story. It's a film about a true story about a serial killer in England during World War II. And John Reginald Christie, who would kill people, strangle them, and then bury them in his backyard. Richard Attenborough was fantastic in this. I mean, he really was. This is highly recommended. If you haven't checked it out, I would highly suggest you do so. I think this is another HD scan, but it looked great. No, actually, this is a 4K restoration. No wonder it looked great. It looked really, really good. It's got an audio commentary with actor and film historians, Judy Gleason, in it, and then it's got an audio commentary with John Hurt. John Hurt plays one of the victims in this film, and he was just magnificent. Definitely got to check this out. No booklet, but thoroughly impressed with this. 8 out of 10. Next up is a Brian De Palma film, also from Powerhouse Indicator. That's Body Double. Body Double, well, most people are going to tell you that this is a homage to Alfred Hitchcock. I felt like it is. It definitely is homage to things like Rear Window, but it's very self-indulgent. And at the time that it was released, when I was growing up in the 80s and this came out, it did not get a warm reception. Looking back on it, watching it now, I think my opinion on it now is that it was too self-indulgent at times. It was like 30 minutes too long. There's extended stalking sequences that just you're following every aspect of them walking and stalking Uh, Basically, what this film is about, you've got a guy that is setting up his friend to watch a murder. Essentially, that's basically it. You don't really get a payoff in terms of gore or anything like that until the last, say, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But it's decent. It's a decent gore film. But it's much along the lines of, say, Rear Window. A lot of voyeuristic type scenes, a lot of stalking type scenes. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's not one of my favorites as far as Brian De Palma is concerned. As far as the special features on this film, it does have an interview. It's a 4K restoration. It's got interviews with Brian De Palma, first assistant director Joe Napolitano, and then Melanie Griffith. Melanie Griffith kind of plays the well, she's a porn star, prostitute, or stripper, if you will, but she was hired to be the body double in this thing. So yeah, it was one of her first roles. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I can't give it a 7. I think if it was a tight 90 minutes, it would have resonated more with me. Next up is another classic film, Mia Farrow in See No Evil, another powerhouse release. This one is really kind of a proto home invasion film from the 60s. Mia Farrow plays a blind woman that goes back to her family cottage, and essentially she's being terrorized, although she doesn't know it because she's blind. She's walking around this house with all her relatives dead in different positions. Really creepy film. And Mia Farrow was fantastic in it. Of course, she's coming off of Rosemary's Baby. She really pulls off and is very convincing as a blind woman. Really good stuff. A lot of tension in the film. This also has a booklet, and it's a Blu Ray DVD combo. Another great indicator release. This one has. I watched all the special features. I've just forgotten. Let's see. This has 2 cuts of the film, a UK cut and the US cut, and it's got a comparison of the 2 cuts, which is minor. The differences are minor. Other than that, it's got still galleries and interviews. Different. I mean, there is no audio commentary, unfortunately, in this one. Yeah, See No Evil. All right, next up, another indicator title. This is Joan Crawford in Berserk, one of her latter films, just before I think she did Trog. This one is a circus film where she owns a circus, and there's some murders going on in the circus, so it's kind of a whodunit type thing. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting as a 1 or 2 time watch. It's not something I would keep going back to. Joan Crawford is great in it. In fact, apparently she was so concerned about this film and the perception of her being in a cheap horror movie, that she brought her own dresses. You know, she made sure that what she wore came from her closet and those type of things. The print is outstanding on this. Looks great. Great color, great resolution on it. It is an HD scan. There's an interview with Joan Crawford, which is about 14 minutes long. And then there is an audio commentary. Jonathan Rigby has a little bit of an interview here on this. Number of outtakes. There's outtakes. There's actually Tom Baker doing an introduction to the film, which was kind of entertaining. You've got a booklet and then the Blu-ray. Next up are some titles that I've bought for the horror challenge. Of course, less than a week now, I'll be doing the 100, or trying to do the 100 horror films in 31 days challenge over at the DVD Talk forums. And how that works is you can pretty much watch what you want. It's really just for fun, but you can also test yourself by following film suggestions for each day. There's a theme for each day, and trying to hit your 100 films based on those picks and those themes. I'll probably be doing some of that. I try to at least watch the primary film picked for each day from the group, and these films are ones that were picked that I didn't have in my library. So first up is a German film from '82, I think, The Fan. Haven't seen it, and looking forward to check it out. This is a Mondo release. Let's see what we got here. Brand new transfer from the film Negative. Interview with the film's writer, director. Subtitles. Fairly minimal on that, but yeah, that's The Fan. Next up is the Jordan Peele film Us. Haven't seen it. I know a lot of people have talked about it, and this and Get Out, so I'll have to check it out. There is looks like there's a couple special features on this release. So I'll be talking about these more, obviously, the day I watch it. And then from 1998, The Faculty. It's another subset suggestion pick. Haven't seen it. I believe it's a mashup of the Breakfast Club meets the Terminator and those type of things. It's kind of a teen horror film. Not a lot on special features. And then finally, an indicator pickup that I have. Great film. I haven't watched it yet. It's Ministry of Fear. Seen it multiple times. Ray Milland is great in it. Classic Fritz Lang film. We've got this is a 2K restoration. An interview with Fritz Lang. It's 80 minutes long. Audio commentary, selected scenes with Neil Sinyard, film historian. Another film appreciation, Tony Burns. This thing is just loaded with stuff on it. Let's see. It's also got a 40-page booklet. So yeah, that'll wrap up my indicator releases that I picked up. Of course, I've also ordered the Severin. Severin has put out its October package, and then you've got Vinegar Syndrome with their updates. They've got some great stuff that's come out in September and October. So when I get that, I'll show that off as well. All right, well, that'll do it for my update. Appreciate you watching.